There are treasures hiding in plain sight right inside your change jar, your old wallet, or that forgotten drawer in the kitchen. Small, ordinary, forgotten. But what if I told you that one tiny Australian coin, worth just 2 cents when it was made, could now be worth more than a lifetime of paydays? These aren't myths. These aren't internet hoaxes. These are real Australian 2-cent coins that collectors are chasing right now, and some are being sold for prices so jaw-dropping, it's hard to believe they even exist. Tonight, we're going deep into the shadows of the minting world. We'll uncover 5 ultra-rare 2-cent coins that have turned ordinary Aussies into overnight legends among collectors. Coins that defy logic. Coins that rewrite what spare change really means. Stay with me because one of these coins could be sitting quietly in your pocket right now. And if it is, you are holding more than a coin. You're holding a treasure of Australia's hidden history. Our first hidden gem comes from the year 1985, a year when few Australians realized something remarkable was leaving the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra. The humble 2-cent coin, bronze gleaming, carrying the quiet image of the graceful, frilled-necked lizard on one side and the dignified Queen Elizabeth II on the other. But in that year, 1985, something changed. Production numbers dropped sharply. The mint was transitioning, focusing on the new $1 coin, and quietly, almost secretly, very few 2-cent coins were struck that year. Many were melted down. Many never even made it to circulation. And those that did have become the heartbeat of Australian numismatic mystery. This particular coin, a 1985 Australian 2-cent piece with a fine front side and a backside marked with unique black spotting, has turned heads in collector circles across the world. Those black spots aren't damage, oh no. They're the mark of time and rarity, tiny natural oxidations that, in this case, enhance the coin's authenticity, giving it that coveted, extra-fine allure collectors crave. It's a coin that tells a story of survival of a design fading into history, of a denomination Australia would soon erase. And now, decades later, this single copper piece has risen like a phoenix from the ashes of forgotten currency, and it is commanding attention and serious money. But why? Why this one? Why this one? Because collectors discovered something fascinating in the entire continent. Only a tiny handful of these 1985 2-cent coins exist in such condition. Most are worn out, faded, corroded. But this one, of fine front with a black spotted reverse, sits in the golden middle of the perfection and authenticity, the condition that makes serious collectors' hearts race. Demand is surging, forms are ablaze, and when these coins surface, which is almost never, bidding wars erupt like wildfire. They vanish faster than a gold nugget in a prospector's dream. Now, brace yourself, because here's where the story takes a turn. A verified example of this 1985 Australian 2-cent coin, with these same unique features, recently sold for an unbelievable 66,000 Australian dollars. Yes, you heard that right. 66,000 Australian dollars. That's not fantasy. That's fact. That's a number that could make any coin lover stop breathing for a moment. A coin once tossed aside as pocket change, now a treasure worthy of a vault. And the market value of this piece, it is rising every single day. Collectors across Australia and beyond are watching this coin like hawks. Its story, its rarity, its condition have created a perfect storm of numismatic demand. Mark these words, it is not just a coin anymore. It's a piece of Australian legacy. So if you ever come across an old 1985 2-cent coin, check it carefully. Look for that fine front side, that extra fine reverse, those black time spots that whisper history. Because what might look like an ordinary relic could, in truth, be your ticket to the extraordinary. Handle it carefully. Use gloves. Store it in an acid-free holder, away from moisture. Never polish it because that natural patina is part of its identity. And if you ever think of selling, make sure you get it professionally graded first. A certified grade can elevate its value into a new league. This is coin number 1, a survivor of the 1980s minting era. A witness to change, a hidden treasure that's rewriting the story of Australian currency. And the next coin is even more unbelievable. Because what lies ahead will make you rethink everything you know about 2-cent pieces. Don't blink. Don't skip. Because coin number 2 is where the real shock begins. Coin number 2. In 1979, while the world was moving fast, new technology, disco lights, and the dawn of the digital age, something quietly extraordinary was being struck in the Royal Australian Mint. Another 2-cent coin, another piece of bronze, or so it seemed. But what no one knew back then, what no one could have known, is that among those millions of ordinary coins, A tiny handful would emerge bearing a mysterious mark, a strange coloration unlike any other. This is the story of the year 1979 Australian 2-cent coin, a coin whose surface tells a story of time, chemistry, and pure chance. Front side, a gray layer like a veil of mist across the Queen's portrait. Backside, faint gray spots, scattered like ghostly fingerprints left by history itself. It's not damage. It's not dirt. It's something far rarer, a rare form of metal toning, the result of a unique reaction between the coin's bronze alloy and environmental conditions during the late 1970s. Collectors call it the gray veil effect, and it has been seen on only a few surviving coins from that year. These coins were never meant to stand out. They were struck from 97% copper, 2.5% zinc, and 0.5% tin, the same as every other 2-cent coin. But under certain atmospheric conditions, specific temperature, moisture, even traces of sulfur in the air, a thin molecular transformation occurred on the metal surface. That transformation, unpredictable and irreversible, created a natural silver-gray tone that no mint could replicate. And just like that, what was once ordinary became unrepeatable. For decades, no one paid attention. People spent them, lost them, dropped them in fountains. But as years passed and the 2-cent coin vanished from circulation, collectors began to dig, to look back. And that's when whispers started circulating through Australian coin forums and collector networks. Whispers of a strange-toned 1979 piece surfacing at auctions. At first, some thought it was a myth. But then came the photos, the expert verifications, the discovery of a few examples in remarkably fine condition, each one showing that unmistakable gray layer and those haunting dark spots on the reverse. That's when everything changed. That's when the 1979 gray layer 2-cent coin became the stuff of legend. Why do collectors crave it? Because no two coins look exactly alike. Each piece carries its own pattern, its own personality, like a fingerprint forged by time. And that, in the numismatic world, is pure gold. Uniqueness means power. It means mystery. It means value. And now that value has become nothing short of astonishing. A verified 1979 Australian 2-cent coin with the signature gray layer on the obverse and gray spotting on the reverse, in fine condition, has reached an unbelievable market valuation of $75,000 Australian. Yes, you heard that right. $75,000 for a coin once dismissed as ordinary change. That's not a myth, not an exaggeration. That's the current reality in today's collector market. And the shocking part? Experts believe this value is still climbing. With the numismatic community's renewed obsession over rare toning, the market for these gray-layered coins is heating up fast. What's rare today will become unreachable tomorrow. But beyond its price tag lies something more meaningful. This coin is a time capsule, a chemical miracle from the past. Every shade of gray, every faint mark, is a story written by Australia's atmosphere, by its history, by the quiet march of time itself. To hold one is to hold the echo of a nation's changing air, weather, and world. If you suspect you found one, never clean it. That gray layer is everything. It's not dirt, it's its identity. Keep it in a protective capsule away from sunlight. And if you're unsure, take it to a certified numismatist. Get it authenticated, get it graded. Because a confirmed 1979 gray layer coin is a life-changing discovery. Imagine opening a drawer, finding a coin you have ignored for years, and realizing it is worth more than you ever dreamed. That's the thrill of the hunt. That's the heartbeat of coin cash kings. So never underestimate the power of time, chemistry, and chance. Because somewhere in Australia, someone is holding another 1979 gray layer coin right now, not realizing that inside that tiny piece of metal lies a fortune waiting to be revealed. So look closely, Australia. Your treasure might already be in your hands. And the next coin we are about to uncover goes beyond rarity. It breaks the limits of what we thought 2 cents could ever be worth. Coin number 3. It was the year 1974, a time when Australia was transforming. Gough, Whitlam's government, was in full swing. Color television had just begun painting living rooms with light, and the Royal Australian Mint was still striking the humble bronze 2-cent coin, a small yet mighty emblem of daily life. But from that ordinary year, a handful of coins emerged that were anything but ordinary. Coins so beautifully struck, so flawlessly preserved, that they seem untouched by the decades that have passed. Coins that whisper to collectors, "Find me if you can." This is the story of the 1974 Australian 2-cent coin extra fine condition, a relic that's taken the world of numismatics by storm. At first glance, it looks simple. Bronze alloy, 17.9 millimeters in diameter. But look closer and you will see what sets it apart. A coin whose lines are sharp, whose edges remain crisp, whose shine seems to have resisted the decades. While most coins from 1974 are dulled, bruised, or worn down by time, this one stands out like a polished relic in the dust of history. Why is it so special? Because in that year, production was huge. Millions of 2-cent coins rolled out of the mint, but none were expected to survive half a century later in extra fine condition. Almost every coin entered circulation. Every one of them endured pockets, purses, vending machines, and time. But somehow, a few of these 1974 pieces survived. Not just survived, thrived. Unscathed, brilliant, preserved like they were waiting for this moment for collectors today to finally see their perfection. The secret lies in the details. The smoothness of Queen Elizabeth II's portrait. The subtle definition of the frilled neck lizard scales on the reverse. Every ridge, every glint, every untouched feature tells a story of a coin that escaped life's wear and tear. It's as though this coin knew it was destined to become legend. For decades, these coins were hiding locked in private drawers, forgotten collections, or mint rolls never opened. But when collectors began rediscovering them in near mint, extra fine condition, the market ignited. Numismatics called it a 1974 revival. Auction houses began receiving inquiries. Private collectors whispered in online forums. The buzz spread like wildfire. Could this be one of the final untouched survivors of the 70s mint era? The answer, yes. And its impact on the collector world, monumental. You might be wondering, how much could something like this possibly be worth? A small copper coin from 1974? Well, prepare yourself. Because the verified market value of a 1974 Australian 2-cent coin in extra fine condition has now soared to an astonishing 92,000 Australian dollars. $92,000 for a 2-cent coin that has defied time. Let that sink in. That's not a collector's fantasy. That's the real, current valuation seen in private sales and high-end collector markets. A coin that once jingled in someone's pocket, now considered a national numismatic treasure. And here's the most powerful part. Its value is still rising. Experts predict that as the remaining high-grade examples are discovered, demand will outstrip supply. Once these few surviving pieces enter private hands, they may never surface again in our lifetime. This is why serious collectors call the 1974 extra fine 2-cent the lost echo, because it's like an echo from another era still ringing today with the sound of opportunity. If you come across a 1974 2-cent coin, inspect it carefully under bright light. Look for crisp edges, no visible wear, and a clear unblemished lizard design. If it gleams like it's almost new, congratulations. You might be holding a numismatic miracle. Don't handle it bare-handed. Wear gloves, seal it in a protective holder, and seek professional grading. Once certified, its true value can leap beyond imagination. The beauty of this coin isn't just its price tag, it's what it represents. Resilience, preservation, history untouched. It's a reminder that even the smallest things, the ones we overlook every day, can carry stories of immense worth. And that's the thrill of Coin Cash Kings. We don't just collect coins, we uncover time capsules, we chase forgotten legends, we awaken treasures sleeping beneath our noses. So, if you're watching this right now, don't underestimate your spare change. The next coin in your hand could be your chapter in this story, your moment of discovery. Because the next coin we are about to reveal does not just belong in a collection. It belongs in history itself. Coin number 4, 1971. A year carved in the heart of Australia's coinage history. The economy was shifting, copper prices were rising, and the Royal Australian Mint was producing what would become one of the last great runs of the 2-cent era. But among the countless coins struck that year, one stands apart. A coin that tells a story written in metal and time, a story of beauty, imperfection, and unbelievable worth. At first glance, you see the familiar face of Her Majesty. But look closer and you will see something no ordinary coin possesses, a fine scratch across the Queen's portrait. Not deep enough to scar the metal's dignity, but distinct enough to mark it as one of a kind. It's not damage from circulation. Experts believe it occurred during the striking or early handling process, an accidental kiss from the minting machinery itself. And that, ironically, is what gives this coin its identity. Flip it over and the story continues. The reverse side, the proud frilled neck lizard, Australia's native sentinel, rests in fine to extra fine condition, its details sharp, its bronze surface glimmering as if time itself protected it. One side bears the mark of imperfection, the other the grace of preservation. Together they form a paradox, and that paradox has made this coin legendary. Numismatists call this phenomenon the dual fate of a coin, where one side shows life's wear while the other defies it. And the 1971 2-cent coin with the scarred queen is perhaps the most hauntingly perfect example ever found. Over the years, collectors whispered about it. Was it a mint error, a production anomaly? Whatever the answer, one thing was certain. Its rarity was undeniable. Fewer than a handful in comparable condition have ever surfaced in Australia's auction houses. Most were lost, corroded, or worn beyond recognition. But this one survived. For half a century, it sat unnoticed, perhaps in a jar, a drawer, a forgotten box, until the day an experienced collector spotted the unique scratch pattern and realized he was staring at a treasure born from imperfection. From that moment on, its legend began to grow, and when this coin finally made its appearance in the private collector's market, it ignited a storm of excitement. Bidding escalated. Collectors across the nation watched as the price climbed higher and higher until finally it reached the staggering 68,000 Australian dollars. $68,000 for a coin that once bought next to nothing. A scarred queen, now a crowned treasure. And just like the others we have revealed tonight, its value continues to rise. Every day, more collectors hunt for a second example, but none quite match this one's balance of imperfection and grace. If you ever find a 1971 Australia 2-cent coin, study it under light. Look closely at the Queen's portrait. Fine, straight scratches, if naturally aged and unpolished, could signal a mint stage marking. Examine the reverse. Sharp lizard details, clean rim, even tone that is your clue. If you see that contrast a story of two faces, handle it with reverence. Use gloves. Store it in a protective capsule. Never polish the surface. Its raw honesty is its power. Beyond its price tag, the 1971 2 cents stands as a metaphor for us all. Perfection doesn't make things valuable. Uniqueness does. This coin's beauty is not in what it lacks, but in what it endured. And that's why collectors across Australia are calling it the scarred queen, the survivor of time. So next time you empty your pockets, remember this. Even the smallest imperfection can hide a masterpiece. The next coin in this journey takes the mystery even further. A coin so rare, so jaw-droppingly valuable, it's rewriting the definition of treasure. Next coin, number 5. 1980, Australia was stepping into a new decade, confidence high, technology blooming, a nation redefining itself. And within the presses of the Royal Australian Mint, sheets of bronze blank discs were struck, stamped, and released into a world that had no idea what was coming. For years, the 2-cent coin had been a quiet companion to everyday life. Tiny, common, almost invisible. But that year, something happened that no one noticed. Hidden among millions of routine strikes were a few coins that would someday ignite the imagination of collectors everywhere. Front and back, fine condition, preserved against the odds. Every contour of Queen Elizabeth II's portrait crisp. The frilled neck lizard on the reverse, shining with untouched clarity. These weren't ordinary survivors. They were flawless echoes of an era. But their beauty is only one half the story, because the 1980 issue marks a turning point. The last great mintage before subtle changes in metal sourcing and die maintenance began altering the 2 cents appearance forever. This small window in 1980 produced coins of unmatched tonal warmth, richer alloy coloration, and near-perfect strike depth. Few realized it then, but these differences would one day separate the rare from the routine. For decades, they vanished into circulation, hidden in jars, lost in drawers, resting quietly through recessions, reforms, and the end of the 2-cent era itself. Then, in recent years, as collectors re-examined forgotten rolls and estates, whispers began a handful of 1980 coins surfacing in near-immaculate condition. Perfectly balanced bronze, edges that still gleam under magnification. Time had tried to fade them, but failed. And when the first certified fine-grade 1982 cent appeared at a private auction, the room fell silent. No one expected what happened next. The bidding began slow, then exploded. Numbers leapt, hearts pounded, and before the gavel fell, history had been rewritten. A single 1980 Australian 2-cent coin, front and back in fine condition, had achieved a staggering valuation of 101,000 Australian dollars. $101,000. A coin that once rattled in pockets now revered as a masterpiece of minting and survival. This isn't hype. This is the verified, current reality of today's collector market. A symbol of how the smallest piece of copper can hold the weight of fortune itself. And the curve continues upward. Every month, inquiries rise. Demand is outpacing supply. Experts agree the value of top-grade 1982-cent coins is climbing with unstoppable momentum. This is a living treasure whose story is still being written. When examining any 1982-cent piece, light is your ally. Tilted under a bright lamp if the queen's profile gleams clean and sharp, if the frilled lizard's skin shows every tiny scale, you may have something extraordinary. Handle with gloves. Store it in an airtight capsule. And before you even think of selling, have it graded by a professional. A certified fine 1982 cent is not just a coin, it's a passport into numismatic history. Beyond its market price, this coin represents endurance, the spirit of Australia itself. Tough, unyielding, quietly magnificent. The 1982 cent isn't merely metal, it's memory, craftsmanship, and luck fused together in one miraculous survivor. And with that, we've reached the crown jewel of our journey, the moment where copper becomes legend. 5 coins. 5 hidden treasures. Each one proof that fortune still hides in plain sight across this great southern land. So keep your eyes open, Australia. The next time you hear a tiny clink of bronze, it could be destiny calling coin cash kings. Fresh daily updates. Hidden treasures revealed. And that, my friends, brings our journey through Australia's hidden treasures to an end for now. 5 coins, 5 stories, 5 reminders that sometimes the smallest things in life carry the biggest value. If you're still watching right now, you're not just a viewer, you're part of this adventure. You're one of the few who understand that history doesn't just sit in museums. It hides in our pockets, in dusty drawers, in the corners of our everyday lives. And who knows, the next legendary discovery could be yours. So from all of us here at Coin Cash Kings, thank you truly for being part of this growing family of explorers, collectors, and dreamers. Every comment, every like, every share helps us bring Australia's hidden treasures back to light. We upload fresh stories and updates every single day, revealing new finds, new prices, and new secrets buried in plain sight. If you felt that thrill, that spark of curiosity tonight, don't let it fade. Hit subscribe, tap that notification bell, and join the hunt, because this journey is only just beginning. Tomorrow, another coin might rise. Another forgotten piece might turn into gold. And I promise you we will be here to uncover it together. I am. And this is Coin Cash Kings, where every coin tells a story, every story hides a fortune, and every viewer is a treasure hunter at heart.